right, we can officially get started. Welcome, everybody. To
Okay, I got it on here.
There's a poop diaper somewhere.
Yeah, right there. Grab it.
All right, I did it for you. If you're not speaking, please mute yourself. And welcome to the November 28th meeting. This will be our last meeting of the year, so don't everybody yell Yahoo at the same time. If anybody here is new, welcome to the regular meetings that we have for the ACSESS group. We've had a few new members since our last meeting that are now in the program, so that is great. Glad to see you here and hope things are going well so far for you. Today, I'm going to dedicate our meeting to kind of the changes and the enhancements. So as WSIB calls them, the 2025 HSEP enhancements, which are all the changes that are going on to the program. So I'm going to walk you through what we would typically do as a information session for new members, but as existing members, I'm going to, the stuff you already know, not going to spend a lot of time on, but focusing on the changes and then any additional details of changes I also have in this presentation as well. So I'm going to go through all of those items. Don't want to get into them all. They're all listed there. You will get a copy of this presentation as well. And of course, it's going to be recorded for a future reference if you need to. All right. As always, please stop me and ask any questions on the changes. Hopefully I have most of the information. The final publications are being finalized. Thought they would have been out by now, but how things go. So hopefully as soon as they're officially published, you'll be the first to know, and I will send them out. So as usual, I don't want to lose track of those of you that are in the midst of your action plans, feverishly working on your topics and keeping track of your expiry dates, trying to comply with the guide that I sent for the 365 days, how you should kind of space your topics out so that I don't get them all on the 3 days or 4 days before you expire, which I'm still getting. I'm getting all 5 topics at the last minute, and it actually puts me in a bind. A lot of times it forces me to extend the expiry date because I don't have time to review them, and it just messes things up a lot if you wait to do that. If you're, like I always say, you should have at least 4 weeks grace for the final topic. So 4 weeks before your expiry, the final topic, if you still have it, if you still have a topic to submit, should be submitted. And please try to do that, because then it just kind of messes out everything up. And if you need to do corrections, it's just going to delay everything. All right. So track that. The uploads, I always talk about this in the meetings, and I still get people not following it. The best, as per what we need to do for the packages for Plan, Do, Check, Act. So remember, combine your evidence into packages, and so you have room for the uploads first of all, because as usual you're only allowed 5, and then switch the draft to ready for review. Some of you think that the documents were uploaded, and then when I check them, it's the files are empty. So the folders are empty that you uploaded. So the best way to do that, I tell people, is to once you think you've got it all done, you've marked it ready for review, then view the evidence yourself on the digital tool and try to open up a document that you uploaded. And if it's there and you can open it, then I'll be able to open it, so will the validator. All right. And then always send me an email. James, got a couple of topics for you to have a look at. All right. And And always keep the evidence story in Word. Don't need to change it PDF, especially while I'm doing the reviews. I'll type my comments right into the evidence story where they made sense, like, add this, move this, this is, and if I have any questions, I add them. I had all my feedback goes right on the evidence story. All right. For any uploads that are large number of pages, so you have 15 or 20 PDF pages in the do, you need to number on the evidence story, number the page number that corresponds to that piece of evidence. So in the evidence story, you might have 7 pieces of evidence listed under do, and you've combined them all into one upload. Then tell me where each of those 7 is, the page number, okay? For each of those 7, you put that right next to the name of the evidence in the evidence story column, right? So if you want me to look at attendance records, page 1 and 2, copy of completed form, page 3 and 4, right? All of that will go on the evidence story. That'll make it easier for the validator and for myself to find everything that you've uploaded, right? It also makes sure that you don't have something listed that you didn't upload, because sometimes that happens, right? It's listed on the column and I'm looking for it, I can't find it, so I have to put a note, can't see this. But if I'm making you do the page numbers, then it's going to force you to kind of audit to make sure everything was uploaded, right? So page numbers for large folder. If it's the plan evidence and it's a procedure that's 3 pages, you don't have to put page number, right? And one form, right? But when we're getting, typically it's in the do, even the check, unless you've uploaded a lot of surveys or things like that that have a lot of page numbers in them. But typically it's going to be the do that has the most amount of evidence. And that's where the page numbers come in very handy. Okay. Remember, no external links allowed anymore. If you're going to upload a video, it's got to be short, fit the 50 megabyte, and it's got to be uploaded directly to the portal. Okay. Don't leave any areas of the evidence story blank. Put NA and that's usually for the act if you're not going to have an act. And then type in that your check showed everything's fine. You're going to monitor, right? So that text that's on the slide, you can copy and paste it right into the evidence story. Okay. Any questions? Ongoing prep, review, so that we get it right the first time, right? All right, so the enhancements for this, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to switch my screen share to the info session document that we'll be starting to use in the new year. Just need to find it. Here we go. That one should be done. And I'm going to go through this and really focus on where the changes are. So let's start with the process. Nothing's changed with the process. The the underlying objective of the program to promote health and safety at all of your work sites and client sites and your offices, and give you some recognition for that. So that hasn't changed, and certainly the position of supporting the program from the ACSESS perspective hasn't changed. The journey from joining, develop, demonstrate, and achieve still the same. Here is the first change. All right. When you join, the fees are going to be changed and based on your premiums. So there's 2 things right off the bat that this slide is showing you. It's showing you what I'll be talking about later, but I put it all together on one slide. It's showing you the rebate structure has changed. So there's no more 1.4, 2%, predictability, all gone, right? Your rebate and your fee are aligned now. What the new fees will be starting January. So you basically have to look at this table and say, look, my previous year premium, right? So for 2023 was from 50 to 100,000. For every topic I complete now, the board's going to give me $3,000 per topic, okay? And the member fee is going to be $1,200. But look what WSIB is doing now. They're giving everybody $1,000 when I approve your action plan. So when you join, you select your topics, I approve them on the portal, everyone is going to get $1,000 as a support payment for joining, whatever you want to call it. So, so in essence, for those firms that premiums are from $1 to $100,000, their member fee is going to be $1,200. You're going to get $1,000 from WSIB, so it'll cost you $200 to join. And even if you do one topic, even if you're a $50,000 firm, you get $2,000 back, up to 200% of your premium paid, right? So it caps. I used to cap off at 100% of your premium. Now it caps out at 200% of your premium paid. So you will most likely reach that 2,000 unless obviously you make less than your premium is less than 2,000. All right. If you're a non-member, it'll be 1,500, and you still get the $1,000 from the WSIB, so it costs you $500 to join. Okay, and correspondingly, for those of you that are 100,000 in premiums paid, all the way down to 1 million, you can see the corresponding per topic rebates. Okay, and the member and non-member fee, and you still get the $1,000. All right. So they kind of simplified it. If you do the math, it works out to basically that 2% of premium. So they got away from that. And so if you do the math, it's very close. Most members are going to get the same or more rebate than under the other formula. So really, with very few exceptions, does anybody lose? And if when you join up to June of next year, they'll automatically put you in the rebate structure that gives you the highest rebate. So they're going to do that until June. So it doesn't really matter when you join. You'll always get whichever structure will give you the maximum rebate, right? Some of the math I've seen, it's like 50, $80 difference. So it's not overly significant. So this is the rebate structure and the corresponding fees starting January 1st, 2025. And you'll notice nowhere on the slide does it say ACSESS will be collecting 2%. So we're doing away with the 2% of your rebate. So you pay the straight fee up front, no matter how many topics you decide to do, and that's it. All right. So I think, if you do the math again, you probably are either the same or less than under the old rebate structure, considering you're going to get $1,000 when you join. So we basically adjusted it to address that. Any questions? So this is probably one of the major changes. This has the change that WSIB created in the rebate structure and the change in our fee in the ACSESS fees. No questions. Not even in the chat. Wow. Does it look good to you? What do you think? I don't know. Yeah. I see a bunch of, I see everybody's got black boxes except for there. Yeah, so I think in general, it's a good move. We don't have to worry about calculating, doing all the math and all that kind of stuff. Okay. You will be getting this chart, yes, because I'm going to send you the slides. Okay. Um, where do you find, for some of you may not be doing the financial side of your WSIB, so you may wonder, okay, how do I find my last year's premium, right? To know how much you're gonna, what's your fee schedule? Because now when you join, I'm gonna ask you, okay, what's your premium, so I can send you the right invoice, right? So you need to get, I don't have that information. It's private information. I don't have access to it. You need to go into your online services account, one of the, I don't know, 12 or 15 services on that main page is going to be view your balance, account activities and statement. You click go there and you should be able to see what your premiums were, total paid, historically as well. So you'll look at the previous year, whatever that was, use the corresponding table, and that'll tell you what our fee, what your fee is going to be to join, whether you're a member or non-member, and what your rebate's going to be. All right. Also, not everyone, if you have multiple people accessing the online services for different reasons, your restrictions at your site, your organization may restrict you from accessing the balance view. And so you're going to need to talk to accounting or the controller or somebody who either will give you access to that feature or will tell you what you're looking for to get that feature, right? Because there are not every go is open on the online services to everyone in a company that has access an online services account. It can be restricted, right? So this one may be or may not be. So you can check that out after our meeting to make sure that you can get access to that. So you'll need that information to determine what your rebate's going to be and what our fee is going to be. The registration process really doesn't change. If you're a first year member, you'll still do the assessment. The culture survey is always optional. The number of topics is going to be the same that you can choose. So none of that changes. The digital tool ACSESS is all the same. You'll notice WSIB has changed their logo. There's a meaning to those three hash marks. I don't remember what they are, but they are rebranding the logo. So you'll notice in some of the new correspondence. Okay. Topic wise, there are 2 additional topics in the intermediate, and I'll show you the list in a minute. The foundation and advanced topics are the same. They are adding 2 new topics to the intermediate. So this is the same list. Nothing's changed in the level 1, 13 topics as far as topic listing is concerned. And the control of hazard topic can be selected, okay, multiple times, but the emphasis now is, first of all, you're developing a new hazard control program. If you already have a written standard or a policy on a specific hazard, you already have something written, just adding to it is not going to qualify. So no standard, and you need to control the hazard. You have not full control. You might have, some things that people are doing, but there's no standard in there. You're going to add new controls, then you can pick it. Okay, so still under control program, address specific hazards. And there'll be more, I'll talk more a little bit later on about the concept of new and as it applies to control hazards. All right. Again, stop me if you have any questions. These are the level 2 topics. There are 19 now, and you'll see in the left-hand box at the bottom the titles of the 2 new topics. They are both related to psychological health and safety 1, assessing your risk, and psychological health and safety 2, reducing your risk. And I will talk a little bit more about what those are later on, and then we'll dedicate probably the next meeting to a full in-depth review of the topic requirements and all the resources available to actually do those topics. Okay, so there's now 19. All the others remain the same, and the level 3 also remain the same. If you did the mental health topic, there isn't a mental health topic. There's workplace health promotion, and if all your people did took the mental health first aid or whatever, that's fine. That is not going to disqualify you because you did the wellness topic. There is no mental health topic, right? Unless you picked it under control hazard and called it that, then we'll have to have a discussion to see how much of it meets or would overlap with the psychological topics. But if you did it as wellness, the likelihood is that you just did a very basic kind of, I don't know, information, maybe newsletter stuff, and maybe sent people to mental health first aid. That won't disqualify you. Okay. So good question. So level 3 topics, no change. Topic selection. When I gave you the heads up probably a couple of months ago on this is a change. Okay. There's no more categories. There's no more significant gap. There's no more significant change. All gone. Okay. The concept of not allowing continuous improvement is still the same. But the definition of a topic that you can select is the definition of a topic that is new. Okay. So a new topic, okay, is defined here. You don't have a related approved written standard in place. Okay. You can't complete topics to improve existing written policies. As soon as it's written and basically has been endorsed, that's it. You can't pick that topic, regardless of whether you've implemented it or not. You've done the do, the check, or the act, irrelevant. You wrote the standard, that's it. Okay. So new topic. You started to work on a topic but didn't complete planning before your action plan was approved. Planning is considered complete once you have an approved written standard for your business, regardless of whether it was communicated or training, which is basically what it just said. Once you wrote it, that's it. Okay. How does new apply to control hazards, right? If you don't have a written standard, you're addressing a hazard that hasn't been controlled, and you're implementing some new control measures for that hazard, then you can select it. Otherwise, as soon as you wrote the standard, even though you might be adding new controls, you can't select it because you already wrote the standard, right? The deferrals one is just for topics that were marked incomplete and that you defer, as long as they meet the definition of new, you can still use them again, but if they don't, they will not be eligible as a to pick as a redo if they don't meet the definition of new. So they still have to meet the definition of new. Okay. And basically, as you know, you have to, even though you're going to do a redo, you have to re-implement the whole topic. Even though you might have done parts of it before, they require you to redo the whole topic. There will be some further changes to resources. So as we move from topic selection to what's going to be available, There's going to they're going to do away with the topic guide and put it into what they're going to call a program manual. So as soon as the final program manual, I'll be updating this side. There'll probably be two things here. The program manual that'll have everything, and then including the topic requirements, and then the sample evidence stories is going to be separate. So basically, two documents. Everything mainly will be in the program manual, and then the sample evidence stories will be separate. So that's what we're waiting for, the final versions. How do you define, here's a good question, how do you find written? We recently acquired a company that has documented standards, some that were not part of our current organization standards. Can we repurpose, review these standards and submit them on behalf of our company? As soon as you say repurpose, review, so if you have already approved those written standards, the answer is no. Even though you haven't implemented them yet, the answer is no. All right. The evidence story requirement, basically, the requirement to use the evidence story is the same. The only thing is they said they're going to provide us a PDF fillable template. So I've updated our template, and I'm waiting to see their template. And if it's very similar or just as good, then we may go with that. There is no longer a small business template and a large business template. There will be one evidence story template, and it's just a matter of me having a look at their template to decide which one we're going to go with, right? I just want to make sure before we decide. But I already, in advance of knowing that they were going to provide something, because it's been an issue, amongst all providers, is what do you really want, and so what a validator's looking for in the evidence story, and so they've decided, okay, we'll do a template. So you will be starting to use that template when you rejoin and start a new action plan. It's just a matter of having a look at their template first before I decide if we're going to go with my revised or theirs. But the requirement for an evidence story, identical. It's just trying to give more clarification of what needs to go into an evidence story. Evidence sampling, collection of evidence, no change there. Everything's acceptable. There's still the no third party videos and or external links that will remain the same. Okay. The validation process has not changed, other than if the validator is reviewing a topic and it looks like it wasn't new, they will automatically mark it incomplete, and that's it. There's no AER, there's nothing, right? It's still subject to appeal or reconsideration, but if they start looking at the evidence and they see stuff that tells them, oh, this is not new, this looks like continuous improvement, I don't see anything that was new here, or evidence, there's evidence showing that that standard was written previously, they'll automatically have the authority to mark it incomplete. They'll give you an explanation, of course, but that's something different from previous, so that will be a change when it comes to the at validation. Okay. The video interview on the previous slide. Video interview. Can you go over the video interview on the previous slide? Is that employees only, not supervised? I'm not sure where does it say video? Yeah, it could be anybody. This is just examples, right? And anything that shows implementation of a topic. So workers, supervisors, it all depends on how you're going to use that video. All right, so it could be anybody. You're using it as evidence to show that a topic was implemented. All right. Any other questions on the validation? Again, the 60 days for AERs, nothing's changed there. The on-site validation for a small number, nothing has changed there. It remains the same. The validation process remains the same with the exception of if a validator sees that it did not meet the threshold of new, they'll mark it incomplete. So other than that, everything else stays the same as far as the process is concerned. Okay. And then the rebates, there's the financial and non-financial, the badges. So again, pretty well the same. This is the rebate schedule now without the access member fee. So same as I showed you before. The only thing is I had the column that on the right of this that added the access member, non-member fee. All right. So this is the rebate structure now. The rebate schedule, this is the latest one I have that takes us till the end of January. As soon as the new one comes out, you'll be the first to know. I'll go over it at one of our meetings. And obviously the bottom half of this schedule will disappear in January because there's no more double rebate, right? Everybody's going to get $1,000 when they join, and everybody will get premium based on their the rebate based on their premium. There's no more small business. Everything stays the same. But as you can look at for small businesses, it works out to double rebate. So you used to get 1,000 per topic. Now you're going to get 2,000 per topic minimum. So basically, for small businesses, they're still getting a double rebate. Okay. Hey, James, for the rebate, let's just use the 2,000 per topic. Yeah, you're a very small, as long as your topic gets validated, is it 2,000 or can it be percent of based on how? No, it's either, so topics are either complete or incomplete. There's no halvesies. There's no percent complete, percent incomplete, right? So complete, you get the 2,000. Incomplete, you get 0. That's it. It's all or nothing. All right. That's how it's been before. So that continues to be the case per topic. So, the old formula used to give, for small business initiative, $1,000 per topic used to get 5,000, right? And then times 2 for double would be 10. Now you're going to get 2,000 per topic times 5, it's still 10. So small businesses are still actually getting double rebate if you do the math. Right? So as soon as I get the new schedule, all of the stuff at the bottom will be gone, and it'll just be the rebate. I believe there'll still be they probably will be now, since there's no double, there won't be 2 checks for those of you that were small business. I'm assuming that because it's one calculation, you'll get 1 check, and that's it. For those of you in the small business, you were getting the initial rebate and then that same amount again in the double. So 2 checks were going out. I'm assuming now, since there isn't the next second calculation, you'll get the 1 check going out for the rebate. But they will most likely process the $1,000 separately. So the 1,000 probably will come earlier because you'll be in the queue for that long before your action plan expires. And then when your action plan is done and you've completed X number of topics, then you'll get the rebate for completed topics. Right. Badges haven't changed. So you'll get your members badge. It will show up on the portal. Right. So you'll be able to actually see it and download it from the portal. when you join, and there's a changeover in the year. So you probably, if you join in late 2024, um, you probably won't get the 2025 badge till you finish your cycle and rejoin again. Then it'll flip over to the 2025 badge. I think that's how they've done it in the past, right? And again, you'll get your, when you finish all the topics in a level, then that badge for that level, foundation, intermediate, should go up on the portal as well, automatically. So you shouldn't have to ask for it. It should actually come up on the portal. So if you're tracking that you've done all the topics on level 1, you say, James, I've done them all. We verify that and it's not on the portal. Let me know. We'll let the board know. But it's supposed to be automatically populated onto your HSEP on desktop. Is $1,000 when joining for the no, it's every time you start a new action plan, you get $1,000, because basically what you do is you're rejoining the program each time you finish a cycle to start another cycle. So every time you rejoin, ACSESS will invoice you. You'll select your topics. I approve your topics. You'll get in the queue for $1,000. Right? So you could, if you do 2 cycles in a year, or 2 cycles in a year and a half, you'll get 2,000 because you joined twice. It's every time you joined, and I approve your topic selection. Even if you do not complete any topics, they don't ask for the money back. You join, you pick 4 topics, you did 0. You probably already have your $1,000 by the time your action plan expires. They're not going to ask for the money back. So even if you don't complete topics. All right. So again, the resources, they're just finalizing them. The manual, actually the manual and the topics guide are going to be rolled into the manual. So that's going to change. The sample evidence stories will be separate, and there'll still be a portable user's guide, a portal to use the digital tool. So that will also be the same. If they do update it, which I'm pretty sure they will be, that will be provided to you as well. Everything that I always send you that's a WSIB document is actually in the portal in your resources. So it's always available from the portal as well, and we'll upload it to the ACSESS library as well. Right, which brings me to the ACSESS library for members under the health and safety tab. If you join the program, then you'll have access to the usual content, updates, meeting recordings, everything that we do gets uploaded to the portal. The ACSESS portal for Excellence Program members. All right. So that is the some of the updates. Let me switch back to the original presentation for today, because there's a little bit more detail that's not typically going to be in the info session that we usually do when people are joining or new members. So the new only category, okay, for topic selection, there's going to be a member check-in. That's what they're calling it. I'm not sure if that will be the term on the portal. So when you do your topic selection, there's going to be an additional confirmation with tick boxes that you basically attest that the topics you selected meet the definition of new. So I reviewed the program manual. I confirmed the topics I selected represent health and safety initiatives that are new to my business as defined by WSIB. I understand that if I submit for validation that do not meet the definition of new, the topics will be marked incomplete by WSIB and ineligible for rebates. All right. So when you click those two boxes, that's what you're saying. All right. So that is going to be added to the digital tool. It's going to be part of the topic selection process. When you click the boxes, you'll also have to click here before you hit submit for my review. These are what the two new psychological health and safety topics look like. We'll get into the details of topic requirements probably in the next meeting. I didn't want to overwhelm you with that today. There will be two separate topics. The logic is that you do psychological health and safety 1 before you do 2. Why? Because 1 is doing a assessment of risk. You're going to write a standard. You're going to put a little committee together, and you're going to do basically an internal audit using an audit tool. Great Minds, that some of you may be familiar with, is the tool that they recommend, and you're going to assess 13 psychosocial factors. You're going to generate a report from those. So it's doing the whole assessment, the whole process to do that. And then topic 2 is you take one of those items that showed up as an item from the assessment, from the registry of factors that you want to work on, and you implement a control related to that. And so for that, again, you're going to apply the hierarchy of controls. You're going to document your control measures. You're going to train people. Basically, you take one hazard you identified that is high on the list based on what you did in topic 1 and work on it in topic 2. Okay. And that's the two options. All right. So if you haven't done these, and you're struggling at this point, find quote unquote new topics, these will be worth looking at. I think, no matter what kind of a company you are, they provide value. We'll have to look, and discuss the topic requirements, to see how applicable and doable they are to the temp agency industry, because again, everything has to apply to your placement workers and to your office staff. You can't just implement it to half the business, right? So we'll have to take a closer look together and say, okay, how is this going to work? And we may even want to bring in a validator or a program consultant from WSIB to go over it with us as well if we need to. Okay. No, that's a good question. Can the cycle safety standard part 2 be repeated for different cycles? No, because you already are implementing a control process, and all you're adding is adding to it. So once you've done it one time, you can't pick it over and over again, even as a control hazard, because you've already done it here. So that question's already been asked, and the answer was no. Were you possibly planning a meeting to discuss these topics further as to what is expected? Yeah, if you look at the top of the slide, it says detail in next meeting. So we're gonna do a deep dive, because the deep dive for each of those is one meeting on its own. All right. So you could probably even do a deep dive for psychological safety 1 in one meeting, and a deep dive for 2 in another meeting. Because they've created a lot of material. I was on the committee that they consulted providers for, and there's a lot of support material to go through, and so it's worth spending the time, especially for those of you that are considering it, to add value to addressing this major issue, right? They decided to create two topics. Originally, it was one topic, and then the feedback they got, it's way too much. Like there's no way, right? So they split it up into assess and then control, basically, right? So that's what they came up with. All right. And all the topic requirements and the resources and all that will be in the new program manual. So I'm kind of waiting for to come out, hopefully by next meeting, which will be probably the end of January, early February. For sure, they should have the manuals out. Then we'll have the content to go through. All right. Any questions on these? So at least right now it's a heads up, new topics, stuff maybe you've never worked for. If you're having trouble with new, coming up with new, you think these will add value, keep them in mind. Okay. Now, control of hazards topic, which is still there, has been an issue with the board. I think they said it's the most popular topic selected. Why? Because a lot of the members and companies in the excellence program have been around for many years doing other programs, and so when it comes to new, it's new control of hazard topics. So not only is it the most selected, but I believe they said it's also the one that gets the most AERs. Kind of funny, even though 90+% of the AERs go to the approved or complete stage, right? So again, and I mentioned this when I did the overview, that if you're going to use control of hazard topic, you can only select it if you do not have a written standard. Okay, so it has to meet the new threshold. You're addressing a hazard that has not been controlled, and you're implementing new controls, right? So you could have controls in place to some extent on a hazard, but you've never written a standard around it. You're going to actually add some new controls and write the standard, you're good to go, right? But if you're not going to do anything new and all you're going to write is a standard, they're going to say, what was new? So that's a common AER we're getting on control. What was new? What was existing? Right? So there has to be new controls. You can't just write a standard on something you already had all the controls without having anything new to add to it. Right? So they want at least something new and then a new standard that's written. Then you can select it. If you're doing nothing new and you're not going to, and you already have the standard, you cannot select it as a control of hazards topic. So there's a bit of an added requirement, to the control of hazards, which is different from the regular topics in that, you have to write the standard, but you also have to have a new control measure. Can't just write the standard to document what you've already done. They're going to want to know what's new. Okay, so that's the difference here. All right. So that's the overview of the changes coming as of January 1st, 2025. And I'll open it up to any questions. I know that I think I've addressed, did I miss any? I think I've addressed everything in the chat. So I think I'm caught up there. If I missed yours, let me know.
James, now that we can only, moving forward, do new topics, is there any way to still get the like fundamental and intermediate badges if the only topics that are left for you to complete are ones that are not new?
Yes, so I believe last year that question was asked, and they had some sort of an equivalency kind of process. Nobody was using it. They did away with it. So the only way you can get, unless they change this again, the only way you can get recognition for a level is if you completed all the topics in that level within the excellence program. So again, it's telling you the focus is gearing towards small, medium-sized companies that really, when they join, they're starting from pretty well from scratch. They have the bare bones or nothing in excellence. So they're going to have to do every single topic to build their safety program. They're going to get their level 1, level 2, and maybe if they stick around for level 3 badge, right? But as of today, unless they change it again, the answer was you can only get credit for those topics completed within the excellence program, not submit a bunch of documents and have them look at it, say, oh yeah, this meets it. Nobody was doing it, and it was pretty a messy process, right? To give you equivalency. So, all right. Right. So, you know, you'll have to make, when it comes down time for renewal, you'll have to make the decision on what you've got left for new. If there is nothing at that time, you may not, opt to join, but anytime you're going to carry out a new initiative at any point, even if you're not currently in the program, you can join and just do that topic, get credit for it, better than leaving the money on the table, right? So as long as it meets the criteria, if something new comes up, you take on a new business or new hazard, new issue, new standard that you're going to create for some control of hazard, because you've taken on a new client that exposes your placements to a new hazard that you've never addressed, then these are all opportunities to rejoin for that one topic. So it's certainly always an option that's open to any firm. If we can find a topic that meets the requirements, then makes sense to join, because you're going to complete that. You're probably going to work on it anyways. Might as well get some recognition for it. So that option is always going to be open, as long as the topic meets the selection of new. All right. Any other questions? Let me take a look at calendar. Yeah, we're probably looking sometime close to the end of February, like the 20th. January is usually a busy month for everybody, and there may be some, and because of the new year and all that, everybody's getting settled in. So I figured hopefully everything gets kind of settled down by the end of February. So I'm looking at the week of the 17th, like February 20th, which is a Thursday. Okay, 1 p.m. And probably again, we'll do basic review, anything that maybe an update from the updates, but we'll probably focus on one of the two psychological hazard topics, just so that people who are considering those will have a chance to ask questions about them, or do a deeper dive on them at that time. All right. Any other suggestions for agenda items please forward them to me. Any questions that may come up afterwards, just email me and I'll be glad to answer them. All right. All right, then thank you. I think we're just perfectly on time here. Thank you for taking the time and I hope you have, since we won't be meeting, even if I don't talk to any of you, happy holidays to everybody.
Thank
Happy
you.
New Year to everybody, and stay safe as the winter comes. Drive safely if you're getting out there, and keep warm. Wish you all the best. And we'll touch base on the 20th, unless you have any questions, issues you're working on with topics. Then we can talk anytime. All right.
Thank you.
Take care, everyone.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Yeah, take care.
Have a good one. Bye.